What's up, internet? It's your boy Hot Noodle, and today is a video about why I don't like being black. No. Today's video is just touching on a few different topics about, black people and the things that they do and how some of the things in black culture really are not acceptable. So let's see if I can conjumble a couple videos together.
We cause most of the problems to ourselves.
People just do not want to be around this kind of behavior.
The biggest threat to a black man is another black man.
All right.
In this video, I'm going to go through 5 reasons why some black people don't identify with the black community, as well as go through footage of other black content creators giving their criticisms and critiques about the black community, because to be honest,
Knowing the black community, is Abati Boy really the person to be speaking about this? All right, let's
their
go.
voices deserve to be heard too. Let it be known that not only is grouping all black people under one umbrella presumptuous, but also dismisses the black people who think for themselves. And if all these corporations and nonprofits and even our government wants to promote Juneteenth and black voices, then we need to listen to all black voices. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos where I talk about race and culture as well. 1. Their melanin does not speak for their mindset. A black person not identifying with the black community does not mean they dislike being black. It just means they don't allow the color of their skin to determine their entire lifestyle. Besides,
I will say this, that is very true. Someone like me who is, I guess, educated, well-spoken, and academic, for most of the time in my life, a lot of black people do not like hanging around me because of the way that I speak. But it's not that I can't code switch. I can easily code switch. It's just like this idea of code switching, I just find that it kind of dumbs down the level of conversation that you can actually have with somebody. So most of the time when I am hanging out with other black people, very few times are we ever speaking about something that's really high level consciousness or high level thinking. So most of the time I like hanging around with other people who are academic, and most of the time other people end up being academic or not necessarily white, but also people of other races. So this is why I always say I can hang around with the white people, but they say I'm too black. I can hang around with the black people, but then they say I'm too white, But there's also another aspect of hanging around with black people when you kind of have this other way of thinking. It's like you're very liberated in a sense. You can be you. You can portray this image of who you want yourself to be instead of necessarily being black, whereas most black people try their hardest to always be, oh, I gotta be black, I gotta wear like Jordans and this and that. But it's like when you're kind of like free-willed and free-spirited, like black people kind of like take offense to that, And it's by design too, man. Black people, just to end this, black people are kind of like, they're designed to hate on themselves. That's what kind of keeps us down, is that we're designed to hate on ourselves. When it's like you find other races, yes, they can hate on themselves, but for the majority, they end up bringing each other up. All right, let's get back to the video.
isn't it racist to judge someone by the color of their skin and not the content of the character? Isn't it racist to assume that just because someone is black, you think they automatically stand with BLM, vote for Democrats, and have a grudge against white people and America as a whole? Just because someone is black does not mean they have to subscribe to an established set of principles. 2. Their personality is often ridiculed and shamed by the black community. Anyone who deviates from the black community always receives these kinds of comments. Why are you talking white? Why are you eating white people food? Why are you doing white people? Why are you listening to white people music? Like, you can look at other videos on YouTube and you'll find other black content creators talking about this experience in the black community, being shunned by our own community simply
My point exactly.
for just existing. Simply thinking for myself, I've been called a coon, an Uncle Tom, the N-word, whitewash, all by people of the black community simply for thinking for myself. Why is it that for someone's blackness to be valid in the black community, they have to stay and conform within this group set and groupthink mentality? I was talking to a really good friend of mine and they were asking me, what's the biggest difference, Amir, between white people and black people in America? And I always say freedom. Freedom is the biggest difference, not legally, but culturally. It's that with white people, you see white people everywhere doing everything. You see white thugs, you see white people scrapbooking, you see white people in banking, in business, in creative work. You see white people everywhere doing all kinds of things. Republicans, independents, Democrats, it doesn't matter. White people are scattered around everywhere. And the biggest thing is that they're free to do so. There are some bullying, there are some crap talking, but for the most part, they're free to just do whatever they want. As for the black community, no. Because the second you step outside the norms and traditions of black culture, you're immediately shunned and exiled by your own community.
Yeah, but this is by design from who? The white man. Dude, the white man did this by design, okay? You know the white man steals melanin all the time? Do you know that in most projects this goes deep. I could go really deep, but I'm just gonna keep it really lighthearted because I don't want people out here calling me like a conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot of things going on with these missing children that's in America, these black kids that go missing. That's because the white people are stealing them and stealing their melanin from them, bro. Because white people need melanin. So what do? They end up deleting a bunch of black people to get this melanin. But thoughts aside, what he's saying is absolutely 100% correct. It's like you can't deviate from this idea because this idea that they've created is a paradigm. This idea that they've created is an entity. Okay, it's a consciousness. It's a level of consciousness that the black man must adhere to. Once the black man steps outside of this level of consciousness, You then have to do crabs in a bucket mentality and bring the other black people down. Because the black man, quote unquote, is not allowed to step outside of this boundary. He's not allowed to excel further past this. If he excels further past this, there could be turmoil, there could be trouble. The black man isn't banking, the black man knows this, the black man knows that. This is realistically what it is. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's like, yes, the idea of freedom, that they took away all our freedom. They took away all our ideas to be who we wanted to be. They took it all away from us. So of course, common black people aren't going to like that because they've already been brainwashed. That as soon as you see another black person stepping out of the boundaries, out of the lines of conformity, you better whip that nigga back into shape.
Community. Oh, a black person, you want to go hiking. Oh, why are you doing white people stuff? It's like black people, we're the first to tear down our own community simply for branching out and doing something different. And you want all this diversity and inclusion, but the second you have that within the black community, you shun and bully them. It always reminds me of back in the day. I say back in the day, but like I think it was like 2018, 2019, the whole Oscars so white and, you know, black people not getting the representation that they deserve in media and culture for regarding movies. It was always so funny to me because on one end, black people are screaming Oscars so white, we deserve more representation, but the second you have a black kid wanting to join theater class in 7th, 8th grade, you're sitting him calling him an F slur. Pick and choose one. It's our own culture tearing us down. It's our own culture saying, yeah, I'm really only promoting entertainers and sports. And that's pretty much it. That's all that black people as a culture really hype up and prop. And there's more to us than that. It's like we can't grow and prosper if we're constantly tearing our...
But that's all you can do, nigga!
own communities down. How do we want to demand all this respect but we don't respect ourselves? I don't get it. And this is definitely a topic for another video, but mental health issues is not talked about enough in the black community. From mental health issues, family traumas, abuse, homophobia, misogyny, there's so much within the black community that needs to be addressed. And
yeah, that's true. I did start this video with homophobia. I did start the video with homophobia. I'm not gonna lie.
Talked about, that's just not. And so be sure to subscribe because I'll be talking about that in another video. 3, they feel that the majority of black Americans' problems stem from the culture rather than racism. I'm going to say something and then I'm going to apply a tad bit of context. White supremacy is not a threat to black people in 2024. Are there still racist and bigoted people out there? Yes. Are there still, you know, some towns, I live in Tennessee, are there still some towns where I'm like, this is a little sus out here in the country? Yes. I'm not saying that it's completely eradicated. What I am saying is that I'm not living in the same America that our ancestors were, okay? Hell, even our grandparents. And I'm not going to sit here and cry and run in the streets and act like we're living in that same America because no, I am their dream. We are their dream. We're doing things that they only could even dream, literally dream of doing. Me fearing
Really using the word dream.
white people is the least of my worries. A Klansman, cops, yes, including cops. You could let it be known. Back in 2017, 2016, I generally thought like thousands of black people were getting killed by the cops every year, but no, it's around 20, which is still bad. It's still something that needs to be addressed, but it's the fact to me that there are so many black people who think it's in the thousands, and it's not. Around the same amount of people who get struck by lightning and die, are the same amount of black unarmed Americans who die at the hands of a white cop. So the issue at hand is not as bad as BLM and mainstream media is making it seem. Hell, if we just want to look at one year an example, in particular 2020, it wasn't the KKK, it was black people who burned down majority of black owned businesses. It wasn't the KKK, it was black people who marched in the streets shutting down interstates, preventing other black Americans from going to work and preventing other black people in need of healthcare services such as the police or such as ambulances from to being blocked and trapped in traffic.
And we're the first ones who, like, we're gonna go around and start yelling victim. And you know what's crazy about this? I'm from Canada, so the majority of the time that this stuff is happening, it's all happening in the States, dude. This is all black Americans doing this, dude. African Americans. What does that even mean, African American? Okay, African American. Okay, first part, African. So African from where? Where's your heritage? Where are your people from? What is your background? What's your lineage from? Okay, I'm Congolese. Do you know that the majority of the slaves that were going to Haiti, a lot of them were, we shipped them over. We shipped our biggest, strongest Negroids over to Haiti and all these different places in the Americas that needed slaves. We sold our own people, okay? These are things you have to look into. You have to understand the history. It's like, oh, you're black. You sold your own people to slavery. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Look into this shit, dude. This is not a game. People need to know their own history. Do you know that the 400 years of slavery and 400 years of oppression that we received as black people, it was already written? It's in the Bible. Go read about it. Dude, I'm telling you, bro, I can go deep. I can go deep, dog.
because you want to shut down the streets. It wasn't white people, it was black people. It wasn't the KKK that committed over 50% of all the murders and robberies in our nation. It was black people. At some point, black people need to take a step back and analyze how they're impacting their own environment instead of pointing the finger at every other white person that turns the corner. From black, white, Hispanic, Asian, and everything in between, a great way for you to take care of your immediate environment is by protecting your digital environment. And a great way to do that is by looking into today's sponsor, Aura. It genuinely could so data fit
No Aura with that
apps, and my
commercial,
entire
buddy.
life is because I'm trying to simplify my life, and knowing that it's all in one app makes all the many years in this society is baffling to me. By admitting that you have white guilt or white privilege, to me, that's putting yourself on a pedestal that's looking down at black people merely just because of the color of their skin. You're walking around all high and mighty like, oh, but the poor blacks, we need to help them, we need to prop them up, rooted to black people. When it's like, girl, I don't need you. How you claim to be anti-racist when you're perpetrating the sheer definition of racism? You're looking at me about the color of my skin and saying, ooh,
let's go to these
the poor
peaks.
blacks in this nation, we need
Let's
to
go
prop
see
you
what
up.
these peaks are saying.
Talk in your community, talk in your family, and let it be
dog.
known that we don't need to be doing this. We don't. We genuinely don't. So those are the top 5 reasons why a lot of black people just don't identify with the black community. Now we're gonna get in these video reactions and see what other black content creators have to say.
It was a conversation that black people aren't ready to have.
That we cause most of the problems to ourselves.
It was a conversation that black people aren't ready to have.
HBCUs are just normalizing segregation. 90% of the people are black, showing like cultural integration in there. So it's
Well, I fast forward the video because he's doing a lot of yapping. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to watch the video, I put the title in this. The title of this video is the title of that video. So if you want to really get into the yap of what he's talking about, get into it. But I kind of want to jump to the meat and bones of this whole situation because although I do want to react to the video, we don't need the yapping. I think we just need to get to the most important segments. Okay, that's how I do things. All right, you're on my channel, dog. Let's go.
so
Popping off already. For one, yeah, we caused a lot of problems ourselves, like I talked about before in this video.
Yes.
2, HBCUs are basically segregation. Yes. I'll never forget when I went to college, I was put in an all-black dorm. It wasn't really an all-black dorm. There was a strange amount of black people in that dorm. Like majority of that dorm was black. We all just got pushed to one corner and like, here's where the blacks live. I don't like that because I didn't fit in. I did not enjoy that experience at all. You to look at me and say, and look at my profile and say, oh, let's put all the blacks together because there's, you know, the black community. No, you just judged me by the color of my skin and the content of my character. When you're wanting these black-only spaces, when you're wanting these black-only graduations and ceremonies, that's racist, that's segregation, that we're literally going back in time. Makes no sense to me.
That black people are not ready to have.
White people have every right to wear braids at this point because we wear wigs, we be wearing blonde wigs, regular wigs. We want to wear the nice little curly, nice little straight hair.
You guys know that the braids, so quote unquote, a lot of that stuff is stuff from Vikings. Vikings had this thing. It's not. Why is it always appropriation by these people that want to sort of quote unquote be like woke? Dude, I don't care if a white person puts braids on. Like, why would I care? Why would I give? Why would it matter? What is like? Nothing belongs to anybody. If anything belongs to anybody, the majority of things belong to black people, dude. Whether it's black people from Africa or the black aboriginals that are originally from countries like in North America or Australia, it baffles my mind, dude. It baffles my mind that everyone is just so quick and so ready to just yip and yap at somebody, just snipe at somebody for, oh, you're wearing a sombrero, oh, it's rude. Why? If you wear a sombrero and you ask a Mexican person if this is offending them, they'll tell you that no, it's not.
We like it's no different.
Yep, that's another one. It's literally no different. For getting mad and saying, oh, it's cultural appropriation for white people to be wearing braids and this and that. No, look at what black women are wearing. And, you know, in their defense, they say, well, I wear it so I look like my counterparts to fit in and get the job. I wear the bone straight wigs because my hair doesn't actually grow like that, but that's like the norm in America. I get it. There does need to be a change in how black hair is looked at, especially within corporate America. But there is a middle ground that can be reached between having your hair just a hot mess versus maintaining it, making it looking cute in nice little like afro or curly hairstyle. These things can be done. But to that woman's point, yes, I think every race has every ability to wear whatever hair color hairstyle that they want to do.
So people ask me why I only call out the black community with stuff like this, and here's why. The truth is that I guess I care too much. People like this cause other people to move away, and then they say it's because of racism, but in reality, people just do not want to be around this kind of behavior. They raise the cost of living and lower the living standards. But it seems like the black community is the only community that tolerates and makes excuses for this kind of behavior.
Yep, acting full up in the streets, acting full, doing the most, super loud, just like, ghetto, and you want to cry racism when like people leave and don't want to be around that. I'm sorry, like that's not being racist, that's just like the behavior. It's not the color of your skin that people are looking at. It's the behavior that people are looking at.
100%, dude. I remember when I was living in New York for a while, we were living in Crown Heights, and me and my homie always used to dress just like, we used to go to the thrift store and just deck out. Like, I'm a fashion nerd, okay? It's like, I'm past the point of like, oh, I like clothes. No. I'm a fashion nerd, dude. Like, I'm talking silhouettes, colors, this, that, and like I'm like meticulous about it. So when I put clothing together, you'd be like, damn, that nigga look like you balling. But nah, I just know how to put clothes together, and I'm balling on a budget, mind you. But still, even though we will go to the thrift shop and be balling on a budget, when we will walk through this, because it was the hood essentially, right? We'd walk through to get to 14th and the station at 14th and Fulton. It's the 14th, and it's Fulton, right? Fulton Ave. That subway stop, the one in Crown Heights. Anyway, when we walk to go over there, just like a lot of people that be posted up on the stoop or people that be posted up playing basketball and stuff, they would always see us and be like, oh man, gentrification coming through. And it's like, dude, like, bro, I got like no money in my pocket, dude. The only thing I ate today was a chopped cheese, dog. The only thing I had to eat today was a chopped cheese. I'm just as low as you, G. Like, I'm not gentrification in any way, dude. But it's just funny to see that, like, yeah, dude, what he's saying makes perfect sense. I relate 100% to what he's saying.
And it's sad to say, but that a lot of that behavior is within people who have my skin color. There's a lot of nuance and context to it, okay?
Don't get me wrong, every community separated by race has people like this that behave in a degenerate kind of way. But you don't see people who are white, Asian, Mexican, or whoever make excuses for this kind of behavior. They simply just do not tolerate it. But if people listen to me instead of calling me an Uncle Tom or a coon, I think they'd find that they've suffered from a good result.
It's totally right. Like, there's no reason that we should be tolerating this kind of behavior or making excuses for it. It reminds me of the George Floyd riot and people saying, oh, I could have been George. I'm sorry. I hate when every time a black man is harmed by the cop, black people put themselves in their shoes. Oh, that could have been me because I'm black. That could have been me. I could have been George Floyd. No, you couldn't have. If you watch that whole hour clip, you're not going to be sitting here using fake money to buy stuff. You're not going to be high off of fentanyl. You're not going to be resisting. Like, that's not your behavior. That's not going to be you. So you don't put yourself in their shoes just because you have the same color skin. You don't have to do that. But like his name is Ace Eccles, what this black man was talking about, instead of calling me a coon and Uncle Tommy, I just looked into the things I was saying and talking about. It's a little bit common sense. Just don't act like a fool. Don't jump on cars. Don't ride in the streets. Don't harass people because they're white. No one wants to be around that. No one likes that kind of behavior.
The outrage over that trend where it's like, as a black person, I feel scared to admit is crazy, because y'all get mad at folks because they say that they scared of hood people or they scared of ghetto people. But let's be honest, if you at a house party, you see somebody walk in,
out. I'm out the door.
You don't get the hell up out of there, you're stupid. Oh, look at me, I'm progressive. I don't care if I get shut up. Oh.
Exactly. Like, you got me remiss. No, I'm not.
Where y'all niggas going that, like, somebody was pulling up like that? I ain't never been to a party, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, though. I don't hang around with niggas. I'm gonna be dead ass honest. I'm gonna be dead ass honest with you, man. I'm gonna be dead ass honest with you, bro. I don't hang around with niggas, man. I just don't. I just don't do it because, you know what I mean? Like, this is the way I've grown up, and the things that I can expect from my brothers and sisters. It's like, bro, I just don't hang around niggas. And this is how I've been able to avoid trouble my whole life, dude. I just don't hang around with black people, bro. I'm sorry. That's how I'm gonna end the video, okay? If you want to watch the rest of this man's yap, make sure you go ahead and do it. If you want to watch the rest of my videos, I don't know, somewhere here, you know how that shit goes. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.